Okay, thanks for Lavi for basically starting the recording, and I can see the record icon has already started. So I think without wait, we can, we should basically start our session. Yeah, thanks. Now, first and foremost thing, guys, which you should basically, uh, you know, ask, I think majority of you guys have basically taken our session with us, previously. To those of you guys who are coming into this session for the first time, let me just clarify all of you guys over there that we are going to start with our session right now. So today will be the demo session, and during the demo session, if you're having any queries or question, uh, please do write it in a notebook, because after this presentation, we will be having a question answer session. So during that point, you can basically, excuse me, ask me your questions over there. Okay. Yeah, thank you. To those of you guys who don't know about me, hello everybody, I'm Manoj Kumar. I'm having almost 16 years of experience in SAP altogether, and for the last almost 8 years, I'm working in Ariba, and in Fieldglass, I'm almost working 5.5 years. For the last 5.5 years, I'm working in Fieldglass over there. Now, let's talk about Fieldglass, because that is basically our goal for today. Now, previously, what is SAP Fieldglass? We will come to that. But where is it usage? That is very, very important for us to understand, because I think majority of you guys will have one question in your mind, that where I can use SAP Fieldglass. So where, in which client SAP Fieldglass will be used? Which client prefer to use SAP Fieldglass? Why SAP Fieldglass is having a very bright future, and to the existing environment, or the existing, uh, what you can say, uh, time related factors or market related factors, is it affecting SAP Fieldglass? Those are the questions which you should basically ask yourself, and those are very, very important. Now let us try to understand where Fieldglass come into the picture. But before that, uh, let me ask all of you guys in this way: have you heard about the terminology procurement? Now majority of you guys will say yes, Manoj, we know about procurement. That's good. Now we know that procurement is divided into two main categories: material procurement and service procurement. Now, if I ask about material procurement, what will happen is, like, majority of you guys will basically say to me that you know about it. Very good. Then I will basically ask about service procurement. Excuse me. So, what is service procurement? How we use service procurement? Now, in this thing, majority of you guys will basically say to me that, Manoj, like, service procurement is, instead of material, we will basically procure services over there. Very good. What kind of services? Installation services, warranty services. These are the services which you require. Very good. How about the most expensive services? The most expensive services for any business organization. What is it? If somebody asks you this question, generally, whenever this question is asked, majority of the SAP consultant, or even the process consultant or business consultant, they will basically say something which is related to what? Which is related to some machine related or software related. But This is wrong. Now, just a moment. I think some of you guys are not able to share, see my screen. Let me just share it once more. I think now all of you guys can basically see my screen. Okay. Now, software licenses or basically warranty services on server and all those things. Wrong. The most expensive service category is human capitals or the services of your employees. You go to any industry, without the employees, industry cannot survive. So the services of the employees are the most important thing. Okay, Manoj, so you're going into the HR part. Sorry, I'm not going into the HR part. This is where you get these things wrong. No HR is coming over here. Why? Because if you go to the HR and you ask what is the services which is provided by employees, huh? HR will say, huh? What are you asking? Now, employees. How many type of employees exist in your organization? And I think majority of you guys can give me an answer on this part. FTE, full time, and contractors, right? So when you come to full-time employee services, yes, you can basically ask them to fill that time and expense sheet. From there, you can basically understand. But but if you go to major major companies, you will see some percentage of their employees is full-time, some percentage is contractor. Now, if you would have asked me this question, what is the percentage ratio? 4 years ago, if you asked me, that means before this pandemic, excuse me, I would have told you guys 60% is full time, 40% is contractor. But now, what we are noticing from 2021 onwards, it's changing. Okay, so what is changing? The ratio is basically getting changed. Now, what is happening? Majority of the guys are saying, oh, I want a good salary. That's it. But apart from the salary, I want other benefits, work from home benefit, work life balances. So what is happening is majority of the employees who are working in full time role, they're basically asking either you give me an okay salary and work life balance and all those stuff, or else if you don't want to give me work life balance, work from home, etc., very good, you give me a very steep hike. The great resignation in IT, that was the reason behind it. So what is happening, lot of full-time employees, they're basically challenging the notions of the organizations, and they are basically migrating towards the this portion. So right now in the Gartner report, previous year only in 2021, what we noticed in US, 60%, more than 60% of the employees are in contractor region. Only 40% is full time. Now think of it, 10,000 employees are there in an organization, 6,000 is contractor, 4,000 is full time. Now the contractor services, how will you basically measure it? How are you going to basically understand that, okay, this much amount of work has been completed? How will you know it? That's not easy to be. So previously, what we used to always see is like the contractor services checking, the work quality, payment, everything was done manually or some custom software. But now, out of 10,000 employees, 6,000 are contractors. Now imagine a big organization having 100,000 employees, 1 lakh employees. Out of that, 60,000 is contractor, 40,000 is full-time employees. So for the 60,000 contractor, how are you going to basically make them work? How are you going to use their services to achieve your objective, to get them paid on time, to ensure compliance? This is the question which majority of the clients were asking SAP, and that is where SAP Fieldglass comes into the picture. So in services procurement, basically this is not a service procurement. Actually, this is basically advanced services procurement, where we procure the services of the contractors. That is basically called as advanced services procurement, and that is where SAP Fieldglass comes into the picture. Now, of course, here some of you guys are going to come and jump at me and say, Manoj, Ariba, yeah, use Ariba, na? Then I will say, very good. Non-catalog item and catalog item, where I will basically put contractor services. And do you think contractor services is very easy to match? Why? Because contractor services are generally not based out of year, not based out of month, not based out of quarter, not based out of 6 months. It's every working day, sometimes even in hours. $100 an hour, $700 a day, $600 a day. So that means what? So that means if a contractor is working for one full day, that guy is going to get paid 600 USD or 700 USD. Now, how are you going to basically map all these things in your invoice? In Ariba, it is not possible. Why? Because Ariba will say, boss, this rates that $100 per hour into 8 hours is equal to 1 man days. 20 or 22 man days every month into the, yes, that is basically the calculation which is coming into the picture. This calculation cannot be done in Ariba because Ariba does not understand what is rates. So now you are understanding that when I am saying that advanced services procurement, Ariba cannot do that. Now some of you guys will basically say, I will have a non-catalog item and I can put Ariba third-party contractor services for 6 months. Yes, you can do that. Then in the price, what you will do? You will do a calculation. 600 every day into 20 into 6 months. Now you are assuming 20 working days in a day, in a month. It can be 22. Similarly, you're not assuming this guy might fall sick. So then what will happen? Again, from the starting till the beginning. Excuse me. How will you do it? So these are the issues. And imagine you're trying to do this advanced services procurement in Ariba, there you're facing this issue. What will happen when you will go to the S4 site? You cannot do it. S4 will flat out reject. What is this, boss? Ariba is more advanced than S4. So that is why, please remember, I am a Ariba consultant. I want to basically go as a Fieldglass consultant. No, it's not like, hey, I can eat chicken, then I can also eat mutton. You know, there's a difference, right? One is red meat, high on cholesterol. Chicken is basically like a white meat, so it will be less on cholesterol. But the difference is very high. So please don't think I'm a Ariba consultant. Going into Fieldglass is very good. No. So who is basically, or who can basically come and learn SAP Fieldglass? This is the question which is I being asked first thing first. So I will tell all of you guys, if you are from procurement domain, I'm saying procurement domain, I'm not saying SAP. I'm just saying procurement domain. If you're also working in any SAP functional, then also it is good. But when you try to basically move over here, please don't think that you need to know what is Ariba. You need to know what is success factor. It's not mandatory. But if you are from procurement domain or any SAP functional consultant, you can come to Fieldglass. Not a big deal. Now, some of you guys will ask me pointed question. Ha, Manoj, like, okay, very good. I understood this thing. Now you tell me, you are a Ariba consultant. Why you came to Fieldglass? Then I will say, you go to Domino's. It's my personal opinion. I go to Domino's, I will eat pizza. But I will basically say that is a necessity. But on the other hand, if I'm having Papa John's, Papa John's, and then there's a local Indian brand also, Oven Story Pizza. I will prefer these two brand over Domino's. Why? Because when I go to Domino's, what happens is like I think they put some preservatives over there. I'm not saying Papa John's and Oven Story Pizza will not put preservative. They will also put it. But after eating a few slices of that pizza, you will feel like, hey, I don't want to eat it. But in the Oven Story Pizza or Papa John's Pizza, as a normal person, you can eat that many number of slices, which is required to fulfill your hunger. It's not like just you will eat two slices and you will feel like, hey, I'm full of this thing. So what is Domino's? Domino's is necessity. What is Papa John's or what is this Oven Story Pizza? Good to have. Now that's where I will say, if you're coming from Ariba, then it's good. What is the basic necessity to learn SAP Fieldglass? Either from procurement domain or any SAP functional consultant. But good to have Ariba skill. Now why? Now, as I said, SAP Fieldglass is what? It's basically a advanced services procurement. Correct? So that means when you are doing or procuring the services of the contractors, PRPO, PRPO invoice will come into the picture. Now, where you will have that PRPO invoice? You will have it in Ariba. So that means what? You're having good knowledge in Fieldglass and you're also having good knowledge in Ariba. And in majority of the big projects, Ariba will be integrated with Fieldglass. So that means what? So that means you will get added benefit, added advantage. So that is why having Ariba knowledge is added advantage to you. but it's not mandatory. Hey, I don't know Ariba. I don't want to do Fieldglass. No, no, no. It's not like that. Ever. Now, some of you are asking me that as a procurement professional who is working in domain, can I learn Ariba and Fieldglass both? Of course. Of course. If you want to have a good experience or good job experience in SAP, and that too in the procurement line, Ariba and Fieldglass is the major thing. To those of you guys who have already learned Ariba and excuse me, you're looking at the future. You're looking at the future and you're basically thinking, hey, boss, in 2025 or in 2026, where I will be, there will be other Ariba consultant as well at that point of time. So then Ariba and Fieldglass. Keep this thing in your mind. Very, very important. Nah, 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 nah. Don't go to Conquer. Don't go to Conquer. Why? Because see, Conquer is basically what? It's a travel and expense tool. That is basically from a HR perspective. Conquer is basically integrated with either with success factor or with your HR. Okay. Yeah, travel and expenses. Yeah, travel and expenses basically from HR perspective, not from procurement perspective. So don't think Ariba Fieldglass Conquer. So if that is the thing, I will tell you that basically I will say Ariba Fieldglass success factor Conquer. That's good. That's great. But it's not possible to learn all these things. It took a hell lot of time for me to migrate from SRM to Ariba, then along with Ariba, migrating to Fieldglass. Now this is a good question. Does Coupa integrates with FG? Okay. Uh, how many of you guys till now? I know all of you guys have basically traveled by flight. How many of you guys have traveled by, one stop or two stop flights? I bet some of you guys have done it. What happens over there? So in a direct flight, what will happen is like, let's say for example, I'm in Delhi. I want to go to Hyderabad. Direct flight means what? It will basically take off from Delhi and it will directly land in Hyderabad. No stop in between. But on the other hand, if you say, are Delhi, Delhi se kahan? Delhi se Guwahati. That is in Assam. And from Guwahati, I will then go to Hyderabad. So what will happen? There will be a stop in between. Extra time. You have to pay extra money, right? Same thing. So Coupa is can be integrated with Fieldglass. It can be done. But remember, whenever you are using a non-SAP product in this whole SAP ecosystem, standard thing go out of the paper. So when you are basically using Ariba to integrate with ERP, you will have CIG or CI9. There all the standard mapping will be there. Majority of your work is done by SAP. Similarly, Ariba to Fieldglass integration, again SAP's product, the mapping will be always be there. You just have to do some basic configuration. But when you say Coupa and Fieldglass, then basically what you are saying, Coupa is a non-SAP product. So there is no standard connectors present over there. From the ground up, you have to build everything. But yes, it can be done. But that will be quite hectic. That integration between Coupa and Fieldglass will take somewhere around, 4 months to 5 months. No, no, no. Coupa and Ariba, we are not going to basically talk in this session. Why? Because this session is not about Coupa. This session is not about Ariba. This is about Fieldglass. So we are going to focus on that. Yes, we were basically talking a little bit about where Ariba and Fieldglass come into the picture. Okay, now there is one question. Coupa is having all the modules like procurement BMS in one system for SAP. Excuse me. We need to use Ariba and Fieldglass, which is expensive to the client, so it will help the clients. Now, now, if you go and see, because I know about this thing, because in the I have also worked in pre-sales for both Ariba and Coupa. Now, if you look at the total sales figure, you will see Coupa sales figure is more than Ariba. So majority of the client basically they uh, what or majority of the consultant, they are very impressed. But as I said, don't look at a total figure. Try to understand the data with respect to your process. So if you look at the process, in Ariba we will work with S2P, source to pay. In Coupa, if you say S2P, source to pay, full solution suite, you ask them the sales figure of Coupa versus Ariba for S2P, you will see Ariba will win hands down. Why? Because Coupa's different product, reporting, procurement, sourcing, contracting, everything, they were not developed in house. They acquired it. So what is happening? The tight integration between sourcing to contracting, contracting to procurement, it's not there. On the other hand, if you look at Ariba's every module is basically developed in house. So there's a tight integration which does not exist in Coupa. Lot of in implementation project I have seen, clients was in iValua, they moved to Ariba. They were on Coupa, they moved into Ariba because of this thing. Okay, but again, this particular thing, Coupa versus Ariba, that this is not again for Fieldglass. This is basically for the Ariba sessions. Now if you say VMS, Coupa is also having VMS, vendor management system. That means what we can do in Fieldglass. Then you go to the Gartner search report and you see the VMS, vendor management system. The number one cloud VMS all over the world is Fieldglass. Why is it so? Why not the Coupa? That's the major thing which you need to consider. And you will you will rarely see that a SAP customer who are having S4 system, they're integrating the S4 system with that of Coupa. They will never do it. If you say non-SAP system, that means they are using Oracle or Microsoft system, ERP. They will basically use Coupa. Why? Because they don't know much about SAP. Forget about knowing about SAP Ariba. Okay. Now, so this is, I think, hopefully clear to all of you guys that what are the things which are required over there. Hopefully, none of you will basically ask me that, Manoj, who can basically come and learn Ariba? Sorry, Fieldglass. This is the thing. You must belong from procurement domain or any SAP functional things. Not an issue. You can come. Now, procurement domain, there is another meaning. If you are from non-SAP, Manoj, I have worked in Oracle in the procurement section, sector only or procurement domain, but in Oracle ERP, not an SAP ERP. Yes, not an issue. Not an issue at all, boss. You can learn it. But now you have to put 120% effort, or you have to give 120% effort compared to any guys who is coming from, let's say, background or Ariba background. These guys have to put 100% effort. But if you're coming from Oracle or Microsoft Dynamics background from procurement and you want to move into Ariba or Fieldglass, you have to put 120%. You have to put 20% more effort than this guy. Why? Because you're new to SAP. You have to understand this SAP's cloud vision. So that is why you have to put extra 20% effort. But you can do it. and there are a lot of opportunities. Specifically in Fieldglass, every alternating weeks, I will get a call. Oh, please come and join our organization. We are not finding any Fieldglass guys, but there is a lot of projects. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. Now, very good, Manoj. So this is basically the Fieldglass for conducting advanced services procurement. Now, excuse me, all of you guys are very, very happy. Oh, Manoj, yes, this is what SAP Fieldglass, we will do it. Excuse me. Then I will say no. Guys, hands-on training. I think all of you guys know that those of you guys who have already done hours, done session with us, that our sessions are always hands-on. So today, demo session is I'm trying to basically make you understand the concept. So, it cannot be hands-on session, but session one, immediately hands-on till the last session. What happens in a project? How you have to do a project? That is basically our goal. Whether it's Ariba or Fieldglass does not matter. So we will enable you to understand how these projects work and how are you going to do the implementation. Once you understand this thing, done. Of course, of course. That is what we are going to do. So whatever things in the projects we have done, right? Same thing we are going to do it over here. Nothing, no theoretical part at all. So today is basically I'm making all of you guys understand the concept. So that is why I'm using this thing. Okay. Yeah. Now all of you will be saying, "Ah, Manoj, very good," but you have to understand the process over here is a little bit different. Why? Now, let's say for example, you're working with KPMG. KPMG is the buyer or buying organization, I will say. So, okay, KPMG is the buying organization. So KPMG require, let's say, Rahul. Now, who is Rahul? So Rahul is a, Ariba and Fieldglass consultant for 1 year as a contractor. Okay. So in this case, what we will call Rahul? Rahul, we will call them as contractor. For the timing, we will call Rahul as contractor. Very good. Now, do you think it can work like this? KPMG will basically say, okay, boss, Rahul, you know, clear the interview. Rahul has cleared the interview. Now, Rahul, boss, come and start your work in the project. Do the work, complete the work. Every month, fill timesheet. We will approve it and you will get paid. So, will it work like this? The answer is no. Excuse me. Now, all of you will say to me, huh, Manoj, why no? Because KPMG will say, excuse me, what's the guarantee, Rahul, that he will not leave our project? Then Rahul will say, okay, the 30 months, sorry, 30 days of notice period. And the 30 days of notice period will be there, na? Then KPMG will say, what's the guarantee that Rahul will follow through with this 30 days notice period? Because if he says, I need to urgently work in another project, you know, take my 1 month salary. KPMG cannot do anything, but they are having the project. Now, what will happen? A big issue. KPMG, what do you think? KPMG will fight out with Rahul? do a boxing match? No, that is not possible. Then what we will do? So here KPMG will basically try to source Rahul from another person, another resource. No, that is not possible because only one guy is required. You cannot hire two guys for that. So in that case, what will happen is KPMG will basically go to ABC organization, or basically ABC HR services, or you can say HR, or rather than HR, consultancy. Okay, now what this ABC consultancy services is going to do? All of you guys are basically going to ask me. So then I will say, KPMG will say, okay, suppose we are paying Rahul 20,000 USD or 15,000 USD every month. Oh, that's a very good amount. So KPMG will say, I will pay you 2,000 USD every month. To whom? To the ABC consultancy services. Then ABC will say, huh? You will pay me 2,000 or 2,500 USD every month for doing what? For taking care of the risk. Okay, what's the risk? The risk is if Rahul leaves this job, you need to find another guy in place of Rahul. Oh, so that is basically the role model. Exactly. So ABC consultancy services will be called as what? Suppliers. Now remember, these are not your normal suppliers. Which suppliers? Suppliers of contractors. Now here I have given an example of Rahul, but actually what will happen? Exactly. No, 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 no. This is, see, I will come to that. This is a very good question. Isn't this for the critical resource? No, I will come to that. But before that, try to understand. Now, what is ABC Consultancy Services doing? They catch hold of three guys, Rahul, Sandeep, and Sanjay. And they are basically saying to KPMG, boss, these three guys there. So immediately KPMG will say, Arey, let's go in with the interviews. Now, once the interview has been done, now KPMG is saying, Sandeep is good, Sanjay is good. But Rahul, he's extraordinary talent. Why? Because he's having both Ariba and Fieldglass knowledge. So I am having a implementation project, same project of the client where Ariba is going to be implemented, Fieldglass is also going to be implemented. So if I don't take Rahul, I have to take Sandeep and Sanjay both. So I will prefer to use Rahul. But but in case Rahul leaves the organization within 2 months or 3 months, or before the completion of the project, ABC Consultancy Services again have to submit the resumes of other what? Contractors. Okay. Now, this is one business model. Now, some of you guys are saying critical resources. See, the thing is like whenever you're working in any project, see, when you are going to hire a contractor, generally what happens is uh, whenever you will go to any project manager office. See, this procurement is happening from the project manager office. This is not happening from the HR perspective. Go to project manager office and you ask them that why you are hiring a contractor. They will say, first of all, we don't have huge number of full-time employees. We are having very less number of full-time employees. That's good. Second thing, the knowledge, the work exposure. Our full-time employees are not having that thing. So if I give that project to them, what will happen? There will be huge issues. So that is why we are going for contractor. So every contractor, whenever they are hired to do a specific task, by default is a critical resource. You go to PMO office, project management office, you ask them this question and they will immediately say every contractor is critical. Okay, keep this thing in your mind. Now, this was one business model. Another business model is PricewaterhouseCoopers. Or rather than PwC, I will basically say, make it simple. PNG. They are also calling the ABC consultancy services. And what they are saying, ki instead of Rahul, here she is there. Okay. So we are having this thing. Okay, very good. Now here, Procter and Gamble will say, hold on for a moment. Boss, ABC consultancy services, what we will do? We want you to find these resources. You find them, come back to me with their CV. I will take the interview. Now, Procter and Gamble identified yes for KGF2. Oh, KGF chapter 2, that was very good, right? Yeah. Now, this guy is going to work. Very good. Now they will say, okay, take $1,000 or take $2,000 and get rid. Go away. Procter and Gamble will say to ABC Consultancy Services, "Oh, we have find our yes for the movie. Now we don't need you." Now all of you will say, "Huh? What is this?" Procter and Gamble has hired this consultant by taking the help of ABC Consultancy Services. Now they are saying, "Get rid." Yes. Why? Because Procter and Gamble is saying कि Yash will not be within your operational control. Yash will be under the operational control of Procter and Gamble. Now, all of you will say to me, Manoj, I did not understand what you were trying to say. So basically, what is happening? KPMG, the business model over here, basically coming to ABC Consultancy Services. Okay, ABC Consultancy Services is basically having operational control of Rahul, right? So that means KPMG, if they directly say something to Rahul, Rahul is basically going to say, no, boss, don't come back to me with all this thing. Don't come back to me. I am under the operational control of ABC Consultancy Services. So ABC Consultancy Services, what they will say, I will do that thing. So KPMG have to go to ABC Consultancy Services. ABC Consultancy Services will then come to Rahul. This is the business model in the first scenario. In this case, in the second case, what is happening? In this case, the business model runs like this. Procter and Gamble will take the services of ABC consultancy services to find for Yash, take the interview. They will hire Yash, give some percentage to ABC consulting service or fixed amount like $1,000, $2,000. Okay, thank you for helping me find Yash. Now, okay, work is done. Now what is happening? The operational control of Yash lies with Procter and Gamble. This is the second business model. Excuse me. Exactly correct. Exactly correct. So this guy is basically working it as recruiting firm or recruiting supplier. And here, basically, this guy is working as a service supplier. In any place, have I written full time? So here, what I've written, contractor for 1 year as a contractor, 1 year as a contractor. So both Rahul and Yash is contractor. They are not full time. Now, I think you understood the scenario, but you can't find for the second scenario. You can't find a real life example. One is first one I can understand fully. Second one, like where is the usage? I'm given an example. Now, as I said, this is Ariba and Fieldglass consultant required. For which project? For which project? Now, what do you mean by this terminology? For client of KPMG. So KPMG is having a client where for that client Ariba and Fieldglass is being implemented. So if KPMG does not complete the work, what will happen? On time, KPMG will get penalized. Huge issue, legal issue, right? Exactly. But on the case of Procter and Gamble, internal implementation. So Procter and Gamble is doing what? It's implementing Ariba and Fieldglass for whom? For itself only. For itself only. So it is saying, okay, so yes, if you're not able to do this project for 1 year, okay, take another 3 months or 4 months and do it. There will not be any legal issues. There won't be any big, like firings. Correct? All those things will not happen. Why? Because it's an internal thing. Now you're understanding these two scenarios, two business models. Very, very important. So I have literally seen Fieldless consultant coming over there. Okay. And when I will ask about these two business model where it is used, no answer. But this is the answer. It's an internal implementation. So that means if you are doing something which is internal to your organization, for that you need a contractor. What will happen? You will not keep the operational control of the contractor with the supplier. You will keep it with the buying organization itself. In this case, Procter and Gamble and Yash is the example. But on the other hand, if you are having another project, KPMG is having the project of the client. So in this case, it's very important. So in this case, what will happen? You will basically try to keep the liability as a buying organization. You will try to keep the liability on the supplier as well as on the contractor as well. Correct? So that's the scenario. So this is basically called as what? This process is actually called as SOW or statement of work in Fieldglass. And this process is actually called as what? Okay. I call it CWM. Please don't go to Fieldglass and try to find, hey, Manoj have shown CWM. Where is CWM? I am using the terminology CWM. SOW you can find statement of work. That is there. But CWM, there is nothing called as CWM. Manoj, has shown us something wrong. No. Contingency workforce management is there. I call it simply CWM. Short form to keep it in my mind. So these are the two things which is which are the two major thing in Fieldglass. And whenever I basically go to any project, what happens is like client will not always know about it. Okay, it can be there, but functional consultant, Fieldglass consultant asking, hey, where I will implement contingency workforce management, where I will implement statement of work, I don't know. That's the issue. This is the two business model, and this is the two business process which majorly exist in Fieldglass. This is the two major thing. Now, of course, all of you will say, Manoj, what are the configuration? Kya configuration? What is the configuration? Of course, I will say statement of work template is there. Contingency workforce management job posting template is there. That we are going to see. Similarly, approval workflow is there. Dynamic approval workflow, static approval workflow, those are there. We will have to configure. Then rates are there. Rates are very, very important. You have to maintain different rates. Okay, Ariba consultant, this is the rate. Fieldglass consultant, this is the rate. Ariba plus Fieldglass consultant, rate should be higher. Otherwise, this guy will say, boss, I am not here to do charity. You have to pay me more. Correct? So all those things must be there. Then after the rates, then there will be what? Integration configuration. Now in integration configuration within Fieldglass, what will happen? You will have upload connectors and download connectors. Oh, very good, very good. That is what we are going to understand. Wrong. I don't want to make any of you guys just like, oh, the basic things I know. We are also going to understand that if you're going to integrate Fieldglass with Ariba, because that is what majorly happens. Fieldglass is basically integrated with Ariba in majority of the project. Immediately, sometimes it will not happen. I've seen many projects where Ariba is implemented first, then Fieldglass. In certain project, I have seen the ulta, like the opposite. Fieldglass is first implemented, after that Ariba is implemented. So Fieldglass integration configuration, very good, you know. But how Ariba integration in this case will work? Because in this case, you are not going to use CIG. You're not going to use not going to use cloud integration gateway. You have to use something else. That you have to keep it in your mind. Okay, so these are the things which you should be very, very careful to know about it. And then another thing, a report is there, Manoj. Yes, report is there. Analytical reports that you can configure, customize depending on the requirement. That also we will see. But now this is a question. Is it integrated with S4? Yes and no. If you ask me technically, Manoj, can we integrate ERP, that means S4 system, with that of Fieldglass? Yes, technically you can do that. Technically, can you go to moon? If I ask this question to all of you guys, Technically, can you go to moon? You can say yes, we can go to moon. Technically, we can go, but in really, can you go? You need to spend like 10 million or 15 million US dollars to go up there. Not every one of us will have that 10 million USD or 15 million USD to go up there. And even if you're having it, you will not spend that much money to go over there. So practically, it is not feasible. Exactly. So that's the thing over here. So yes, Fieldglass can be integrated with S4, but in reality, we will not do it. Why? Excuse me. Because you have to understand that in our integration scenario session in Fieldglass, there I'm going to basically make you understand the whole process. Why? Because you think everything will happen in Fieldglass. Wrong. Ariba will come into the picture. Now all of you will say, Manoj, the payment to the supplier and then to the contractor, how it will happen? Then I will say it will happen in S4. Huh? Then why you are saying there will be no integration with Fieldglass and S4? Because Fieldglass to Ariba is happening. Invoice is getting generated in Fieldglass, and this invoice is being sent to Ariba. What will happen? Through the Ariba to ERP integration, automatically this invoice will come into ERP. Automatically against it payment will be done. Payment status will be moved where? To Ariba. From there it will go to Fieldglass. That's it. That means you are integrating Fieldglass with Ariba. And then Ariba is integrated with S4. Done. Direct link with Fieldglass to S4 is not there. And it won't be there. So that is why I said in integration, my goal is to basically not just make you understand what is a local Fieldglass configuration for integration. I have to also make you understand how Ariba is integrating with Fieldglass. Now some of you will say CIG, CI9 must be used. No. For Fieldglass, you will have different flows. Different flows will be there. So through that it will happen. Now, this is a question. Technically speaking, Manoj, if we don't have Ariba, then what will happen? Yes, then also you can do an integration with Fieldglass to S4, but that is suboptimal. SAP always say this thing, it's suboptimal. If you want to use it, you can use it. But I have never seen a project where Fieldglass is integrated with S4. Always I have seen Fieldglass, then Ariba, then S4. Okay, but technically speaking, yes, you can do it. Then what will happen? So you have to basically do some transports and ask the basis consultant to do some configuration, then only it will work. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. Okay, now S4 Ariba Fieldglass integration is there, but not directly integrated with S4 to Fieldglass. Yes, as I said, yes, you can do that without CIG also. Yeah, that means S4 to Fieldglass. Yes, you can do that. For that, what you need, then in that scenario, you have to basically ask the basis consultant to install the Fieldglass, what you can say, add-on to S4. Once they do that, then some transport will be there, some notes will be there, some other master data export one program is there. Those of you guys who have basically attended our Ariba sessions, you know. Within that program, you will see on left hand side Ariba is showing, on the right hand side it will basically show Fieldglass. So that you have to select, and then you have to basically schedule this job. Exactly, extra test step will be there, but it is not used. So that is why my goal is here to make you all of you guys understand that how Ariba Fieldglass will come into the picture. Because if you can do that thing, Ariba to ERP, you will by default know it in our Ariba session. So that means you go to a project, you can work very, very, you know, aram se, or in a relaxed way you can do it. Okay, so this is basically how the Fieldglass comes into the picture. Now I have obviously kept everything simple in today's session. Why? Because I don't want to go into excuse me, technicality. Because if I go into technicality, what will happen is like it will be tough for all of you guys when you will come into a session. Ah, Arey Manoj, this is too much technical. No, even those of you guys who have came to us and learned Ariba from us, you've understood that we have made the sessions quite simple so that you understand the things. Same thing for field glass. Why? Because field glass is a little bit off the topic. See, for making you understand only these two business process, SOW and contingency workforce management, I have to basically draw up a different scenario to basically make you understand. Exactly. But but when you will basically go into the what you can say understanding mode, it will be very easy for all of you guys to understand this thing. So we'll understand all these things. But before that, guys, let's take a break. After the break, we will basically have a question answer session so that you can also ask me your queries and we can clear some of the doubts from your mind. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a break. And after the break, we will basically continue with our question answer session. Thank you, guys. Thank you. This break will be for 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes. Yeah. After 10 minutes, we will continue with our session. So you don't need to basically log out of this training session. Just keep it over there and have some drinks. Don't take hard drinks. Okay. Then you will ask me about the meaning of life and all those type of questions after the question answer session. In within the question answer session, we surely don't want to take a question on that one. Yeah, Phillas, yeah, we are ready to take over there. The meaning of life, we are not ready to take over it. Okay, so have some cold drinks or something like that, or tea or coffee, and after the 10 minutes we will continue with our question answer session. Thank you, guys. Hello, guys. Am I audible to all of you? Can you please confirm in the chat box? Yeah. Thank you, guys, for your confirmation. Now, please do one thing, guys. Those of you guys who are having query, please raise your hand and don't try to raise your hand physically. I won't be able to see it because this is not a classroom session. So go into the coach training app. There you will see a small hand icon. Just click on it. So from there, I will know about it. Okay, just a moment. So, Javed, can you please unmute yourself and ask your query?
Hi Manoj, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, Javed. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yes, Manoj, first of all, I would like to ask, you explained the two business scenarios.
Yeah,
So I already asked in the chat if both business scenarios or both business cases would be running in the same company, then how
yeah,
the structure would be, and how can we do the implementation over there?
yeah. Both. See, the thing is like this is a very wonderful question, Javed. So, thanks for asking this question. So, in all the projects wherever you will go, you will see both these two project. Both these two process. Why? Because remember, as I said, so first and foremost thing is basically it depends on the risk. See, I have basically discussed these two scenario based on certain companies like KPMG and Procter and Gamble. So for Procter and Gamble, I've given an example of internal project. For KPMG, I've given an example of a subcontracting. That is like client's project. But in reality, whenever you will go to a client, the client will basically divide these two scenarios based on the risk. Now, in certain project, if there is huge risk and there is legal issues also, so in that case, what will happen? SOW, statement of work, will basically come into the picture. On the other hand, if there is no major risk over there, but they are not able to find a proper employee who can do this work over there. So in that scenario, what they will do, they will go ahead with contingency workforce management. So risk factor is the major thing which comes into the picture. Now within the risk, there can be multiple things like compliance risk, legal risk, then basically intercompany risk like this, finance type of over budgeting type of risk. So based upon these things, what we will do, we will divide it when certain scenarios fall under high risk category, it will be SOW, low risk, contingency workforce management.
All right, thank you so much. Apart from that, is there any other business scenario which you have come across in your experience or in your life?
As of now, there is nothing, but SAP Fieldglass has launched another module. This is, in infancy. It's not a full-fledged developed module that is called as assignment. Okay.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So in assignment, what happens is like you can take certain part of SOW, certain part of contingency workforce management, and you can basically make a hybrid scenario or hybrid business process where some part will be there into from SOW, some part will be there from contingency workforce management, excuse me, depending on the client's requirement. But this is in infancy. I cannot basically design a integration scenario based on this thing. Why? Because it was launched in 2021 only, and majority of the client, they are still not ready for that particular process. Why? Because the business process from SAP Fieldglass side is still not mature for this internal assignment business scenario.
Okay. With regards to the integration with Ariba and the field glass, so you told
Yeah,
that CI9 would not be there, CIG would not be there. Then how it is going to
exactly.
be integrated?
So there will be integration suite. So specifically for integrating Fieldglass with S4, if you're directly talking about S4, so you need integration suite. There will be different iflows which is need to be activated, and then basically from the S4 side, ERP add-on needs to be installed, and then certain configurations will be there. That's the first thing. Now coming back to Fieldglass to Ariba. So for that particular thing, you don't need CI9, CIG. You have to basically work with web services where the upload and download connector will be there. That's the first thing. Second thing, from Ariba side, what will happen? We will basically have the endpoints, and there we have to basically define the endpoints for Fieldglass, and then we have to activate the web services within Ariba buyer, and then we have to link the Fieldglass endpoints. So in this way, the configuration will happen for integration.
And what if we have ECC, SAP ECC instead of S4? Can
That
you
is also
implement
possible.
this?
That is
Okay.
yeah. Again, for that, as I said before, S4 or ECC integration suite with iFlow, and the ERP add-on
Hmm.
will be there for Fieldglass.
Okay. Now the last question with regards to the learning, like
Yeah,
would you? So I can see so many courses on the Learning Hub with regards to the field glass
yeah,
integration, VMS, buyer quick
yeah,
reference, and all these things. Which
yeah.
what should I refer at this stage to understand the course you are going to conduct as a reference? Or will you provide the material to us, like, okay, these are the user manuals, you apart from the training, you
Of
just
course,
go
of
through that
course.
and
Yeah, Javed, we will
okay.
basically provide you all the custom documents. See, we will provide you the standard document, but I highly recommend my participant, whether you are working in, whether you're enrolling in Ariba sessions or Fieldglass session, that standard document we will provide. Please don't look at it. Why? Because those documents are very heavy. They will contain technical words you won't be able to understand. On the other hand, what we will do is like we will have prepared custom document for Fieldglass to keep it simple. As in today's session, right? Contingency, workforce management, and SOW. I'm damn sure no guidebook can make you understand this thing in such simple English over there. Same thing with all the different technicalities of Fieldglass. We have prepared custom document by ourselves. We have prepared it. So those documents we will basically share with you, and you have to go through those documents. Please don't go to Learning Hub. Why? Because I
All
will
right.
tell you this thing. Keep this thing in your mind. So if Learning Hub was so much, if it is so much effective, then we could have Ariba, not only Ariba Fieldglass, Hybrids, C4C, Success Factor Consultant, just going into Learning Hub, reading those documents, and we could have very expert consultant, but that rarely happens in real life. Why? Because those books are good from a theoretical perspective, but they will never tell you how to basically see these SOW templates will be there. There will be uh, SOW templates, multiple templates will be there. How will you basically, differentiate between one SOW template and another SOW template? What are the different business rules which you can configure? Then, based on that, what are the different business unit which you can create? What are the different SOW types which you will create, and how you will build a relationship between SOW type and SOW template? Similarly, excuse me, there will be master SOW and child SOW. So same thing also will happen for the template as well. So how will you distinguish between the master SOW template and the normal SOW templates, where you will use it? So this kind of questioning you will basically face in your project, and the books and the content from Learning Hub will never clear your doubts on this part. Why? Because those contains only theoretical things. So that is why we have prepared all the documents which we will basically give it to all of you guys. Those have been prepared by us, by me, while working in the project. So those documents will contain a lot of information. Apart from the training, I will suggest read the custom documents which has been prepared by us. Learning Hub, that means the standard documents which we will provide, that will also be there, but that should be your last point of reference.
O- Okay, one more thing. Like, if we
Yeah,
will go through your custom document, so ultimately after
yeah,
completing this course, how
yeah.
can we crack the certification then? Uh,
That's a
will
that's a
those
good question.
document help us?
That's a good
Hmm.
question. Yes, those documents will help you. Why? Because see, this is the difference between Ariba and Fieldglass. Fieldglass, you will have only one certification. In Ariba, you will have multiple certifications. That's the first thing. Second thing is like, excuse me, Fieldglass certification is more practical oriented. rather than theoretical oriented. So here, if you go through our sessions, go through our recordings, understand the sessions, and then go through the documents, you would be able to clear the certification without any issue. But Ariba is different. Why? Because Ariba theoretical and Ariba practicals, these are the things which is used for your project experience as well as implement certification. Certification is purely theoretical based, but in Fieldglass it's not theoretical based, it is practical based. So that is why, by reading through the documents which we will give you, custom documents as well as the sessions, that is more than enough to clear a certification.
Okay, okay. So did anyone pass this certification like by just going through your documentation or your course um,
Yeah,
through
yeah,
your
there are a lot of,
guidance?
yeah, there are a lot of
Hmm.
there are a lot of participants who basically have passed this certification. Actually, we were not able to conduct our sessions for the last 1.5 months because my health was not so good. So before 1.5 months, there was a lot of participants who have basically cleared the certification of a glass just going through our sessions. So basically, I will give a percentage. That percentage will be somewhere around 70 to 75%. Rest 25% to 30% candidates, they basically understood my point of view. This point of view I will basically say to everybody, not only for Fieldglass but for Ariba as well, that certification does not help you right now. If you go into a market and you go for a job, they will basically ask you, okay, how many projects you have done, what you have implemented in the project. If you say that you have just cleared the certification, that's not going to help you. Why? Because they will ask for project based experience or the project based things which you can do or what you have done, not just passing the certification. So certification is not mandatory as of now. It will become mandatory maybe in 2024 or 2025 when there will be competition in the market for Fieldglass consultant. Right now there is no competition, so it's not at all required. That means like Fieldglass certification. But even if you want to go up on that particular section, yes, you can clear it with our course content as well.
I can understand. Definitely, I agree with your point. So, the my purpose to join this session or join this course is to get the hands-on and the full knowledge of this module. Apart from that,
Yeah,
in the Middle East region,
yeah,
certification is also, and you can say the add-on here, the added value.
yeah, yeah,
Before, like
definitely.
without certification, you are not going to get into the job. They will just see the your resume, and then they will just put it aside. So you
Okay.
in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
getting
So then
into
you can
the
basically go ahead.
interview.
Then you can basically go ahead. Yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you, like we need to definitely we'll more focus. Like my view is to more focus on the training and the hands-on. Definitely, I'll work on it. But apart from that, that for the certification, my question is that whether you are going to help us or not. That was my question.
Yeah, definitely.
Might
I
be
will
in
be
the
helping
US,
you.
yeah, it won't be
Yeah.
it won't be
Yeah,
required, but
definitely,
here
definitely.
in the Middle
As
East
I
region,
said,
it is.
yeah, we will help you. We will help you on this part, not an issue. But as I said, like
Mm,
in US and Europe, that is basically what happens is like we focus on that thing. So yes, in those regions, certification is not mandatory. But as you pointed out in Middle East, yes, it is required. So in
mm,
that case,
mm,
you have to go through our sessions. But
mm.
if you go through our session, that is more than enough to clear the
Mm.
certification exam.
No worries. No worries. Thank you so much. I'm done from my side.
Yeah, welcome, Javed. Just a moment, guys. Excuse me. Okay, Vignesh is there. So, Vignesh, you can unmute yourself and go ahead with your query.
Hi Manoj, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, Vignesh. Thanks for asking. What about you?
I'm good, thank you, man. First of all, thank you for the session today, and it was very wonderful.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have three
welcome.
questions.
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
You said, you said the integration touch point is much better for the S4. Is Ariba is better than the S4, right?
The thing is like from a integration standpoint. See, I'm just giving an example. So you will create SAW in Ariba, right? And after you create SAW, then the approval will happen. This will go to the supplier. Supplier will add the SAW worker, and then it will come back to the buyer. Buyer will interview the candidate, and then they will select the SAW worker. And then what will happen from here? Integration touch point will begin. That means a PR will be getting created in Ariba. Against that PR, PO will be getting created. Now, once basically this worker after 1 month completes the timesheet, submit the timesheet. Once it is approved, invoice will be created in Fieldglass. This invoice will come into Ariba. Now from here, what will happen? From Ariba, this invoice will go into ERP. Against that, IR and payment will happen, and the status update will come to Ariba. From there, it will go to Fieldglass. So that is why, if you look at this whole scenario, you can basically
Mhm.
ask me and tell me that Manoj, I will not use Ariba. I can directly create a PO in ERP, right? In ECC or S4. Yes, you can do that. But think about it. This consultancy supplier, will they accept that PO in email? Because these are all electronic
Uh,
supplier, consultancy suppliers over there. So they will basically
like
say, I am already basically available in Ariba network. I have created my account.
correct,
So let's
correct.
work on Ariba. So that is why majority of the client, when you will basically go ahead and implement this SOW contingency workforce management, they will say PO, GR, invoice, these things basically should basically get integrated between Ariba and Fieldglass, not directly with ERP.
Thank you, thank you. But I have a real-time scenario where I have a
Yeah.
sourcing suit, but not a guided buying or buying. But I have
Yeah.
SEC. Okay, in that case, the PR will be created only in S4, and the PR confirmation also will be done through SEC. So
So you are
will
saying
that work?
buying solution is already there in Ariba?
Yeah, buying does not have, so they have only sourcing suit, and
Acha, 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 acha. Ha,
SEC and SEC we
ha,
have.
ha. So
So
then there is no other option. Then there is no other option. So this will become a headache for you. Why I am saying this thing? Because you try to understand. So
uh
this PO will get created into ERP, right? Directly
okay,
from Fieldglass, it will come over there. Now, what will happen through the commerce automation, not SCC,
yeah,
commerce automation. Commerce
correct, Master.
automation is part of SCC. So what will happen is like this PO will go to the supplier network, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to basically do the customization also over there. Why? Because this is advanced services procurement. So your ERP will basically say, what is this? What service data is coming? It's not there in my service master. So there are also a lot of enhancement you have to do it. But yes, you can do this stuff. It's not an issue. Like
But
it will not happen.
but it
It's
is
not like that.
possible
But
through web
lot of
services, right?
customization.
Manoj? It is possible through web services from
Definitely.
SG
As I said,
to
not web services. Here, integration suite will come into the picture, and there will be iFlows. Those iFlows need to be,
okay,
activated, and then ERP integration will be there. ERP integration add-on that basis needs to install in ERP, and then you have to do some certain configuration. Then this PO will automatically come from Fieldglass to that in ERP, and you have to do some customization. Why? Because from ERP, you're not directly sending the PO through email, but into Ariba network. So there also you have to do some customization, extra customization.
so yes,
That
SAP is
means
trying to
enhancement.
force the customer to implement both the guided buying and sourcing suite.
Yeah, because
All right.
see, the thing is like I will say on this part over there that uh, once see you are basically going to a two-star hotel. From the two-star hotel, once you go to five-star hotel, right? Your test will change, and you will basically always like to go to five-star hotel. The same thing happens with SAP. So what SAP is saying is like, okay, once you start using this SAP Ariba, okay, your
Mm-hmm.
client will always like this thing. And then what will happen is like
Correct.
once client moves into that SAP Ariba, they will never go back to ERP.
Gotcha. Got it. Thank you, Manoj, for that question. My second
Yeah,
question is in the C and in the CWM, so the invoice will be
yeah.
created by the worker, which means the Yash consultant by your
No, no,
example.
no, 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 no. Uh, Always remember, in CWM, what will happen is like whether in CWM or in SOW, timesheet will be created by the worker. or the contractor. Okay. Now, once buyer will basically approve the timesheet, automatically invoice will get created.
Correct, correct. In the CWM, invoice will be created by the worker, which means Jayash, right? Not the because
Exactly. Exactly.
the recruitment company already brought him to the PG and he is owning it, so he will directly submit. Whereas in SOW, the
Yeah.
invoice will be submitted by the supplier,
Yeah.
and
This
the
is a very
payment
good,
information.
very good observation. This is a very good observation. So in SOW, what happens is like the payment will happen to the supplier, then supplier will basically pay to Rahul in SOW.
Yes,
In
yes,
CWM, what is happening? The payment will directly happen to Yash over here.
yes, sure. Yeah. In my question, so in
Yeah.
SOW, will the Rahul come to know whether the payment is done directly from them, from the client to them, or is
No,
anything the Rahul can track on it?
Rahul will not see the invoice at all. They will not know what is the rate in the invoice. Rahul will basically see that timesheet is approved. That's the only thing which Rahul will see in SOW. That's it.
That's
Then
correct.
supplier will
It's
get the
only
payment.
tracking.
Then supplier will basically, pay it manually by doing the bank transfer
That's
to Rahul.
correct. That's correct. So he can only the tracking whether it is approved or not.
Exactly. But supplier through their own login, they can basically check the invoices and whether the invoice is correct or not. That the supplier can see, not the worker in this case.
That's correct. That's correct. I have few more questions. Only one questions. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. The thing is, sorry, I just forgot. Okay, I don't want to hold you. If anyone has a question, please raise your
No,
hand
no, no,
and
no.
go ahead.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. We will be taking all of your queries over there. So please go ahead.
Yeah, one second. Okay. Can any of the time can the disputes can be raised? Either let's say if in the case of SOW, because if any queries to be raised, so they can directly talk to the supplier. Can the buyer can raise a dispute to the supplier saying the Rahul is a performance or anything in the leaves or something like that?
Yeah. So basically, you are saying that the customer is not happy with the performance of Rahul, right?
Yeah, any disputes?
Yeah. So basically, in this case, what the supplier will, what the worker will do is like they will basically terminate that SOW. They can basically terminate it over there by saying, okay, let's say out of 1 year, 4 months has been passed, and we are finding the performance of Rahul is not up to the mark. So what they will do, they will close the SOW. Once they close the SOW, what happens is like for the rest of the 8 months, no timesheet can be raised, and Rahul will basically get a message that this time, this his date of relieving will be on this particular date. That means within 2 weeks he will get relieved over there, and supplier will also come to know that the SOW is getting closed within 2 weeks. So that also can be done.
Got it. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Okay.
But that
Okay.
generally
Thank
don't
you.
happen. That generally nobody does.
You
Why?
don't
Because
have
they will
had, but
say,
I'm just asking.
yeah. So what will happen in that scenario is like they will basically stop the process. Buyer will basically stop the process, and then they will say, "Ki boss, give me more, contractor. I want to interview them. Once I select one guy, then only I will say to Rahul, you go out. Otherwise, we cannot do that." So that is how the process will happen over here.
Okay. My last query. How
Yeah.
globally the suppliers being integrated? I mean, how many suppliers are there for the field glass?
Excuse me. Now, this is not like Ariba network where you are already having 4 million plus supply. But
Correct.
Not Ariba, Fieldglass does have a network over there where like almost like some I think 100,000, maybe 100,000 supplier, yeah, 100,000 supplier all over the world is available. But remember, it's in infant, infancy over there. It's not a matured solution, so that is why only 100,000 suppliers will be there. Majority of them will be quite expensive. Just like for example, you will have manpower solutions, like it's a big organization. Similarly, you will have a Randstad. They are also a consultancy
Yeah.
organization, but they are very costly. So this kind of consultancy services will be available over there in the global pool for Fieldglass. But majority of the buyers have their own consultancy or recruitment supplier with themselves. So that we will basically onboard as a supplier or as a vendor in Fieldglass from their ERP system or maybe from another third party system.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Manoj. Thanks for your answers. Thank you, man.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome, Vignesh. Now, just a moment. Hmm. Abhishek, can you please go ahead with your query?
Yeah, hello Manoj, good evening.
Yeah,
It was a
good
great
evening,
session.
Vignesh.
I have only one question
Yeah.
regarding session. Like, are you going to cover each and every option of a field class admin tab?
Now, see, this is a very important question. Now, yes, this is a very interesting question. No, not really. I'm not going to basically cover examples. Examples is like what are the weekend settings in calendar. So yes, there is a weekend settings in calendar in
Right.
Fieldglass. So that kind of configuration, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because you're going to basically look at the calendars and you're going to set Saturday, Sunday. Now, if you're belonging to middle list, you will say Friday, Saturday. Those kinds of configuration does not add any meaning. So basically, my focus is SOW type. Okay, you're configuring a SOW type, then you're configuring a SOW template where the relationship is coming, how it is affecting one process to another process. So majority of the things which make sense, which are quite complex, the impact of them, those are the things which we are going to cover. Simple things like checklist will be there. Checklist means what? Basic task, it will be given to SOW worker. They will just click on it, mark completed. That kind of configuration if I show here, what happens is like that will be wastage of time, because those kinds are very simple. So we have given the document, through that document you can understand. But our focus overwhelmingly will be the rate structure, approval workflow, SOW template, SOW type, job posting templates, how these templates are basically behaving with each other, this type of configuration, because these are the major configuration which you
Complex.
have to do it in your project.
So you mentioned about rate. So in the rate you are going to cover each and every option.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in there's sub option as well, right?
Yeah, there are not only in rates. I'm talking about rate. Then invoice
Rate
adjustment
group
groups will
rate,
be
like
there.
yeah, all
Exactly.
the
Rate group
financial
rate
things, right?
structures. Yeah, rate group rate structures will be there, right? So yes, we will cover those things.
In depth, like not just overview.
Definitely. Those are the things
That's
which are
my like
required. See,
yeah.
rate structures, and then basically the templates configuration, master templates, child templates configuration. Those things are the main focus. So those are the things which we should basically put in your focus. Similarly, approval rules will be there, right? And then
Right.
approval groups will be also be there.
Group.
So we have to understand these two things where it is coming into the picture, why it is being used. So this kind of configuration we are going to see each and everything.
Okay. Okay. I think that's it from my end. Like I don't have any other queries.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome, welcome, Abhishek. Just a moment. Excuse me. Okay, just a moment before taking some other queries. I think some of you guys have also written down the thing. What about the practice system? We'll be able to get the access, of course. Excuse me. Of course, you will get the access for 2 months, starting from the session. Once you register over there, you will get access to 2 months over there, and yes, you will basically get administrative access so that you can create, not only create a transactional document, but also create the approval workflow, SOW template, job posting templates, all those things you can create. So yes, you will basically get that access for 2 months, and not only the buyer access, but worker access also we will give, and supplier access also we will give. Now, okay, another question. I am having 11 years of procurement domain experience and I want to pursue my career in SAP. Okay, so what are the job scopes for fresher, SAP, or even Fieldglass consultant? Now, the thing is like you are not fresher. Yeah, you may be new to SAP over there, but you are not a fresher. You are already having knowledge in domain. Now, from the domain, you're basically moving into Ariba and Fieldglass consultant. There are a lot of opportunities, specifically if you're having Ariba and Fieldglass knowledge over there. But Since you are new to SAP, I will suggest keep some patience. Why? Because see, I don't want to basically give a very wrong impression to majority of the people. Because if I give wrong impression, what happens is like, you know it conveys a very uh, bad message. Why? Because I believe I'm in the IT industry with this much amount of experience, so I should basically show the way to majority of the participants. So let me just clarify on this part, guys, that yes, you are not fresher, but you are trying to basically build up your consulting profile in SAP. So yes, there will be a little bit of struggle. If I say that there won't be any struggle, that would be wrong. There will be a struggle, but there are a lot of opportunities in the market. So my suggestion is basically, whatever may be the role, whatever may be the work which you're getting, once you get that particular work, immediately go inside it. Please don't have something in your mind like excuse me. There are a lot of guys who basically say to me that excuse me, I will go into implementation, I will go into support, or I will go into rollout, or I wanted senior role. Don't go with these things in your mind. Just take that opportunity which you get first. Get some experience, 1.5 year in SAP consulting. Then you basically go for the hike. Then you basically say, I want to work in implementation project. You will easily get it. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is, you have to basically put a lot of effort during the sessions. Why? Because since you're not basically from the SAP background, you have to also understand the SAP's vision in on cloud. I'm not saying you have to go to the S4 side over there to learn, but you have to go over there to understand this particular thing. But as I said, if you keep patience and you don't keep too much high expectation, just get a job in consulting, work there for 1.5 year or 2 years, and then you basically switch out. It will be very, very easy for you, but you have to keep your patience. Okay, don't quit. That is going to be my suggestion to you. Okay, now does FG integrate with SAP HR and success factor? uh, Organizational structure, for that, yes, it is there, but generally we don't do it like that. Second thing, if you ask me specifically regarding the success factor, I will say yes, it can be done basically for the position ID. So in basically success factor, you will have a position ID. Against a position ID, the recruitment will happen, right? So that particular thing can come into your field glass from that, but that's the only integration which will happen, nothing else apart from that. Yeah. If server access will start from day one, how can we utilize it till last means on day one we might not need access. See, the thing is like, as I said earlier over there, that uh, whenever you basically register over there, what will happen is like you can basically have a understanding of the look and feel, right? How does it look, how does it feel, what are the different things it looks like over there. Get to familiarize yourself. Okay, yeah, keep this thing in your mind. And as I said, the challenges is basically like a struggle. Everybody struggles. Even I'm having this much amount of experience, if I basically think of moving into another job, I also have to struggle for some time. That's there. And if I say no, it's not there, it will be wrong. Okay, do I need to know ACM? No, nope, it's not mandatory. Ariba? Nope, not mandatory. You are a FICO consultant? Yeah, it is not a big deal at all. It is not a big deal that you need to know about Ariba or But I'm going to just ask a simple question. You should not come to me and say that, Manoj, what is a PO? That is why I have written that at least some procurement domain knowledge. That means you should understand what is a PO, what is an invoice. You should not come and ask me what is a PO, what is an invoice, and then I will basically be thinking how I will basically make you understand. So even if you are a FICO consultant or anything, it does not matter. What matters is basic procurement knowledge. What is a PR, what is a PO, what is an invoice. This knowledge, if you are having, you can basically come and learn Fieldglass. And specifically, FICO consultant, they are actually quite versatile. Especially, if you're from finance background, you're basically versatile. Why I'm saying? Because you will be used in procurement, you will be used in HR, you will be used in every module, right? Why? Because some part of finance will be there in every module. So that is why you have to be very, very clear on this part, that if you understand what is a PO, what is an invoice. I'm not saying you need to understand every configuration of PO. That is not. You should understand what is PO, what is invoice. That's the thing. If you understand this thing, you're more than welcome to come and join our field session. Yes, you have to put a little bit more effort, but this will basically expand your portfolio to become as a solution architect rather than just being a FICO consultant or a field glass consultant. You can become a solution architect. That is how it is going to help you in your career. um, Weekdays or weekend session, as of now we are basically thinking about weekend session only, because weekdays I have to work somewhere around 18 hours, 17 to 18 hours I have to work from Monday to Friday. So it will be impossible for me to give any timings over there on weekdays. So as of now, we are looking for weekends only. Yeah, I think there is question from Pramod over there. So Pramod, you can basically go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your query.
Yeah, Manam. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, Pramod.
No. Yeah. Hey. Just a couple of questions I do have.
Yeah, yeah,
One of them is like, mm, uh, if you are an Ariba consultant, then
yeah.
which one will be the more field glass, upstream or downstream, should be knowledgeable to get it be a field glass consultant? Both are
This is a
good.
very good
How
question.
it will
This
be?
is a very good question. So, from my perspective, if you ask, I will say downstream. That means buying and invoicing. Okay. From clients' perspective, what client is going to see, when they are going to hire you as a Ariba and Fieldglass consultant. So they are not only going to say that, oh, Fieldglass and only Fieldglass related part in Ariba. No, they're not thinking about it like this way. So they're basically thinking, hey, Promo, this is our guy. So anything related to Ariba, anything related to Fieldglass, this is the guy. So that means what? Whenever you go to a client, if the client is having the strategic sourcing solution, that means sourcing, contracting, contract compliance over there, and they're also having the buying and invoicing modules, that means P2P process over there downstream. So you should know fully. Then you say, I also know Fieldglass. So when you basically move into this Ariba plus Fieldglass role, my suggestion to all of you guys is, don't focus just on one part of solution of Ariba. Focus fully on Ariba, focus fully on Fieldglass. That means the upstream plus downstream solution. So in this way, not only you will get a good hike, but you will also get a senior position, and you don't have to think about your job. Your client will basically, or your organization will basically think about, retaining you, how to retain you in the organization.
In this point, I just want to know, like, SSC is totally for direct, right? So that is not that much important, right? I believe, my understanding. I don't know. From your end, you may have a lot of experience, right? So you can
Yeah.
clear my doubt.
Okay, so first and foremost thing, Pramod, yes, you're correct. SCC, supply chain collaboration, is not a mandatory thing in the Ariba plus Fieldglass solution. It's not a mandatory thing. But there are certain client who will basically come to you and they will say, hey, boss, I'm not having buying and invoicing solution. But this PO, which is going to be created in ERP, must be moved to the supplier account in Ariba network. So in that case, I have to, mere haath bande hue. Even if I don't want, even if I go to my client and say HCC is for direct procurement, they will say, I don't want to hear you. This PO is coming from Fieldglass. It is getting created in ERP. Move it to Ariba network with the help of commerce automation. That means through SCC indirectly. Do it. So yes, I have to do some customization and enhancement, and I have to do it. But that is not the best practices. So in best practices, we will never use SCC or commerce automation to do a integration of the PO from Fieldglass to ERP into Ariba network. What we will do over here is Ariba buying and invoicing will be integrated with that of Fieldglass, and then the whole process will flow. So that is the best practices.
Okay.
So it is
One
not
more question
mandatory
is like,
that you should basically have the SCC modules, because as I said, this is not the best practices. So majority of the clients will not follow. Some clients will be a little bit excuse me, what you can say, like saying that, hey, I don't have the buying and invoicing module, give me a solution. So in that case, you will go ahead with that, but that is not the best solution or best practices solution. So I will suggest buying and invoicing is the major thing, but ACC is not mandatory for Fieldglass.
other question is like in Ariba, right now we have only quality and production, right? I don't know development is there, but how it will
Yeah,
be in for Fieldglass? It
same
will
same
be
thing,
same like Ariba.
same thing in Fieldglass. Yeah, same thing in
Oh,
Fieldglass. Why? Because again, if you want to buy a quality site over there, SAP will charge more for that.
oh, okay. So, and the updates will also every 3 months, every quarter, or how it will be?
As of now, generally in Fieldglass, it's every quarter. In every quarter, they will basically go ahead with user interface changes or which will not impact your business process. But I think once in every year or 1.5 year, a new feature update will come into the picture. Now, this feature update will, introduce some functionality. As I was talking in previous year in 2021, after a long time, this assignment module came into the picture. That means a mixture of SOW and CWM, right? So this was like a feature update with which introduces new functionality. But that is very, very rare. That means after 1.5 year or maybe after 2 years, every 2 years it will come. But the quarters is basically just the user interface changes. No functionality wise it will, it will do.
So in the session you have discussed right about the integration. This iFlows, it is a new development, or it's been continuing for a long time, or how it is?
Actually,
Integration between
this
Ariba and
Ariba, no, Ariba and Fieldglass is, here you will not use integration suite. Neither you will basically use iFlows. iFlows and integration suite you have to use whenever ERP is directly integrated with Fieldglass. That's the thing. And this particular thing came
oh,
into the being in, I think, in 2019. Why? Because in 2015 December, SAP bought out Fieldglass. Then they tried to basically make Fieldglass up to a certain level, and Ariba Fieldglass integration actually started from 2017, and with S4 it was also there in 2017, but with ECC 6.0 enhancement package 6, this support was basically applied from 2018 end, almost like November or December.
oh, okay. So then for Ariba and Fieldglass, it is CIG only, because in
No,
your
no, no.
call when
Ariba
you
and
are in the
Fieldglass. No, no, no.
session.
Ariba and Fieldglass. Basically, there is no CIG. Ariba and Fieldglass is basically based on the web services, right? So in Ariba we will have
Oh,
the web services, and in Fieldglass we will basically see these things. अरे कहाँ पे गया? हाँ, here. The connectors,
it,
basically the connectors are nothing but
oh,
the web
okay.
services only, web services points. So Ariba and Fieldglass is basically using the endpoints and web services connector. We will do this thing here. You don't need a CIG and CI9.
Oh,
Why?
okay. Okay. Got
Because both of them are cloud solution, and both of them recognizes CSV files as well as XML file as well.
it. Okay. And my last
CIG
question is
CI9 is
like
required.
you.
CIG CI9 is required between Ariba and ERP. Why? Because Ariba understand only XML. It cannot understand IDOC.
Yes.
ERP on the other hand only understand IDOC. It cannot understand XML. So it needed translator in between. So that is why this CIG CI9 comes into this picture between ERP and Ariba. But Ariba and Fieldglass, they speak the same language, CSV and XML. So that is why this middleware is not required in this case, or in this scenario.
Oh, and last question. Sorry for
Yeah.
long questions.
No, no, not an issue.
One
Not
thing is
not
like
not not an issue, Pramod. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Not an issue at all.
yeah, one. Yeah, sorry. One thing is like we are speaking about this contractual jobs and everything, right? This is about
Yeah,
related to jobs, not to the subject, but it's related to jobs. And in India,
yeah,
most of the time, people prefer for permanent jobs. So how the
yeah.
Indian clients going to adopt this?
Very
It's
less.
very less only, I believe, right?
Actually,
SAP,
actually,
yeah,
actually,
feel less.
Indian client. So that is why I said about there. You are not going to implement this thing for Indian client, huh? There are some, uh, what you can say, exception. TCS, Accenture, Infosys, Wipro, right? And then KPMG, ENY. So they are having a hell lot of employees in India. They are having a lot of contractors. Yeah, a lot of contractors are there. So this organization will basically implement. TCS has already implemented Fieldglass. Capgemini has already implemented Fieldglass. So if you basically go and try to go and work as a contractor over there, you will see that they will give you a Fieldglass network access. So there you have to go up, create a user ID password, and then basically fill your timesheet over there.
Oh,
But majority
only
of the
service-based companies, not the manufacturing.
yeah, in India it is service based in industry only, but when you go to Europe and US, so there service based as well as manufacturing based, because in manufacturing also there are a lot of contractors which they hire, temporary contractors, they
Yeah.
will basically work. So there also fieldless are being implemented.
Oh, Europe also lot many field as implementation, because Europe also they
Exactly,
look
yeah.
for permanents only, right?
Europe,
Most of the time.
yeah, Europe. No, 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 no. In Europe also there are a lot of contract work is there. Europe and US both.
Oh,
Even in Australia,
oh,
New Zealand also you will get it.
oh, okay. Yeah.
And
Thank you very
and
much.
and
Thank you
there is
for.
another thing, which I think all of you will be amazed to hear. Middle East. Now I did not expected the Middle East clients to start using Fieldglass, but they have started using it in huge numbers, because the openings in Fieldglass for the Middle East client are also increasing. And this is like very uncommon. Why? Because they do have a lot of contractors, but they don't want to go for something very new. Fieldless is a very new thing in the market over there. So this is also a pleasant surprise kind of thing, that you will get a lot of implementation in Fieldglass for Middle East sessions also, or Middle East clients as well.
Oh, okay. This new thing which I'm learning.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, Manoj, for your inputs.
yeah. Welcome, Prabhu. Okay, just a moment. Excuse me. Muwasid, can you please go ahead with your query? You need to unmute yourself first. Muwasid, I think you need to unmute yourself first. Hello, Muwasid, are you able to hear me? Guys, am I audible to all of you? Can you please let me know in the chat box? Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Thanks, guys, for your confirmation. I think there is some issue. Yeah, I think, yeah, he might have gone over there. He might not be available. Okay, not an issue, not an issue. And anyways, guys, so tomorrow we are going to continue with our session, and tomorrow is basically the first session, which would be very, very important for uh, all of you guys. Why? Because in tomorrow we are going to start with this particular thing. Why? Because tomorrow we are going to go into the session directly, and there we are basically going to understand how it is going to happen, or where it is going to happen. Okay, just a moment. Jagan, can you please go ahead with your query?
Okay, Manoj, like when you say integration, so is it like more or less similar to the CPA, CPQ integrations what we use?
Now this is a very wonderful question over there. And now CPI, no, not CPI over there. Because CPI is basically the cloud connectors and all those things coming into the picture. And CPI generally what we will do is like when we are having some non-SAP system, right? And we
Right.
connect it, want to connect it with our SAP cloud system. So there we will use CPI, Cloud Platform Integrator, by defining different interfaces with the field mapping, right?
Correct.
But here in Ariba versus Fieldglass, so here what happens is like you don't need anything. No connectors is required, no CPI is required. Why? Because here the web services is more than enough. So through the web services, data will flow from Ariba to Fieldglass and from Fieldglass to Ariba over there. So what we need to do, we need to just make sure that we have done the endpoint configuration, we have done the upload and download connectors configuration, and then basically we have enabled the web services, and then basically we have linked this endpoint with that of the web services. Once that is done, then automatically this data will flow between Ariba and Fieldglass.
Okay. And like, how about the certification? Like, does this fieldglass certification expire, or like it's a lifetime?
No. Excuse me. Generally, when you go for this certification, what I have seen is like for the cloud versions, generally you will never have a lifetime validity kind of thing.
Okay, it's more or less similar to SuccessFactors one, where we have to write the maintenance for every release.
Exactly correct.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Yeah.
this is basically, what happens is like, lot of, lot of uh, uh, participant ask me this question that, hey Manoj, if I give this certification, will it be valid for the whole lifetime? Then I say, no, it is not like that, that it will be valid for the, whole lifetime over there. But yes, for each releases it will be like, what you can say, you can basically say that it will be valid. Why? Because see, certain things, see, Fieldglass is, certification is very very new. It was not there in 2017, it was not there in 2018. It came out from 2019 only properly.
Right.
Before that it was not there. So even if you are basically not finding, if you go over there you will not find all this data. But if you read the fine prints, then you will understand that these are basically based on the release. So this release component, once they basically come up with something new, what will happen, then they will again send you a mail that please recertify.
That would be frustrating to write for every release.
Yeah, definitely. See, this is why, if you ask me that, Manoj, are you certified in Ariba, then I will say yes, I am certified. Only 2 modules, and that was in 2017. After that I am not given. Why? Because the thing is like, at the end of the day, once you get the experience, okay, once you're certified, what will happen, you will get a job, and then once you start working on that, you will have real experience. Now once you're having the real experience, then you don't need anything else. So just for the job purposes, give the certification, take that certification with you, get a job, start working on the real project. After that you don't have to think about it at all.
Okay, got you. Thanks, Manoj. That's it from my end.
Okay, yeah, welcome, Jagan. Okay, now what you are expecting from us in this course and where we will see ourselves after this. Now this is a very good question. See, what I'm expecting dedication from all of you guys. I'm expecting hard work from all of you guys, nothing else. Okay, so we will basically follow through with this particular session, so you have to understand this particular thing. That's the first thing. Once you have understood, then what will happen, when you go to a project, see, the thing is like, Fieldglass is a very unique thing. See, in Ariba, what generally happens is like, in the demo session, I will always say, hey, we are different than other trainer. But if you go into the Fieldglass right now in the market, you will see that you are not able to find a proper trainer. And even one trainer, if you're able to find it, that guy, you know, You go to the demo and you will immediately understand that this guy is trying to basically give a theoretical knowledge. That's not enough. So what you need, what does the things come to your mind that when you say that I will do a training? See, you are not student. None of you guys are student over there. You are all professionals. So what is the goal? So the goal is to learn a new skill so that I can go into a project and I can start practicing it. I can start working on that thing. I can have a successful career. That is the goal for the training. So the same thing over here. So what do I expect from all of you guys? Hard work and dedication, so that when you complete this training, you can not only say that, okay, I'm a SAP consultant. It can be FI, it can be it can be Ariba. But along with that, you can say, I'm also a SAP Fieldglass consultant. I can work in Fieldglass projects. I'm fairly assuming some of you will be having 2-3 years of experience. Some of you guys will be having 4-5 years of experience. Some of you guys will be having 10-11 years of experience. Some of you will be having even 15-18 years of experience. So all of you will be looking to increase your portfolio. Some of you will be thinking of moving into Fieldglass totally. Some of you guys will be thinking, okay, along with my pre-existing skills, I will also develop Fieldglass so that I can become a solution architect. So that's the goal. In short, all of you should be able to go into a Fieldglass project and start working over there. There, you should not basically think, hey, how to do this stuff. You should basically say, hey, I know what is SOW type. I know what is SOW template configuration. What are the things which are required to be done? I know about it. That's the thing. Okay. So that is what you should be expecting about yourself after the completion of this training. Okay. Yeah. So I think we are good to conclude our session for today, guys. Thanks a lot, Pallavi, for conducting this session. And thanks a lot to all of you guys for participating in our session. Please join tomorrow's session. Please join tomorrow's session. Why? Because in tomorrow's session, you can see the Fieldglass real thing. Some of you guys might be thinking, hey, Manoj, are you sure that you are having the Fieldglass system access? I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to say, come tomorrow, have a look at it. Okay. So tomorrow's session is also important. And excuse me, those of you guys who are basically interested for registration, please do the registration. Okay. And those of you guys who can say, okay, Manoj, let me see one more session, then I will decide. Okay, it's up to you, because tomorrow's session is free. But next Saturday session onwards, those are not free. You have to register. Okay, so just come in tomorrow's session and attend it to understand how the things happens over here, how the things get done in our sessions, so that you can also have first-hand experience. Then you can decide for yourself. Or if you have already done this session from us, you can also register for this sessions. Okay, so let us conclude our session for today, guys. Once again, thanks for Lavi for conducting this session. Thanks all of you guys for participating in our session. We will meet once again tomorrow at the same time. That means 7 p.m. IST. We will have our session, our first session on this Fieldglass session batch. Okay, yeah, thank you guys. Have a great day ahead to those of you guys who are in India. Those of you guys who are in US, have a great day ahead. To those of you guys who are in India, have a great evening ahead. Okay, thank you guys. Let's conclude our session for the day. Yeah, thank you guys.